Hello everyone, welcome back. So I'm working on the inspectors, the first Illuminated Drop Cap. Let me turn that a little bit. So what I've done here is I went through my sheets of possible fonts and I selected this one and I blew them up to 250% to give me a large enough size. The first letter in the first chapter of the novel, The Inspectors, is the word, so it's a T. And so I decided to put a little rocket over the T. So this is just how I do it. Now I'm going to redraw the letter, so I'm going to turn this overhead off so you can see a little better. So there's a rocket that goes here, so I'll do the rocket part first, and then I'm going to redraw the letter from the font. And what's important to keep in mind here is that I'm not going to be able to draw that letter as cleanly and perfectly as it was done in the font. And that's okay. This is handwork. It's handmade. So the original is going to be cleaner than what you see here. And that's just a given. At this point in what you're doing, if you're going for sort of the handcrafted appearance of your work and are fine with that, which I am, then this is what you're going to have, is you're going to have imperfections. And it's just some part of what you have to kind of accept in the work that you're doing. If you're going for a more perfect look, you'll do this in vector or something like that to achieve really refined results. But I'm actually more than happy to generate a less than perfect result, as this will, reflect that this is handmade. It's not made by a machine. It's not made by AI. And the imperfections you will witness are handmade imperfections. I'm human. And actually the imperfections, to me, can make artwork feel more alive and more real than sort of the artificial perfections that we're starting to see now that look pretty fake to me. They just don't have something that a quality that I'm interested in. So anyway, so I'm going to hand draw the rocket ship part first, and then I'll draw the letter, and I'll bring you along for while I'm doing that. So I'm actually going to do something like this. Part of the fun of art is being creative, doing it your way, and enjoying what it is. And however that is turning out for you. And that's really a whole lot of why art is so fun. Okay, so now I'm starting to shape out. And again, I'm not looking for vector style work. I am looking for handcrafted and interesting work. And so I'm going to come in and kind of lay in some dashed lines, which are to indicate the path of the rocket for the purpose of this drawing. So what I'll do next is draw in, and I do kind of want to get this next part a little straight because it makes it a little easier when I scan it if I have my background straight. So I'm just going to come along and do this. So like I said, the perfection of the font letter is just not achievable on Bristol. There are probably mediums I could use that would be cleaner, but I like working on Bristol. All right, and I use templates. You know, like I said, I come out of the architectural world, and all these are familiar tools to me. And I decided this font set was interesting. Kind of looks like little barbells or something. So, and there you have an example of a quick sketch, and I'll come in and fill it in. So we'll come in here with my rapidograph and ink in the font lettering so that it's darker. So if you're doing any pen and ink work, no matter what it is, this happens to be an illuminated letter, but whatever kind of drawing you're doing, you're going to make errors. And I have a little bobble there, which you probably saw. And I have pencil. So the pencil I will erase before I do the scan, and I will probably use a little whiteout kind of thing on the ink where the bobble is, and I won't really worry about it. When I scan it in, it will go into, I can take it into GIMP, which is like Photoshop, and I can enlarge that area, any area that has a bobble or something, and I can erase it there. So there's multiple opportunities to improve what I'm doing. So I'm not trying to fix it while the ink is wet. That is kind of important. Learning to be patient with the ink, because ink, when it's wet, is persnickety. It can be a pain in the butt. And again, I'm just not going to fret over it. I'm just going to get what I need to get done, which is the first illuminated letter, and see how I like it. And the other thing here is if I decide I don't like it, if it doesn't handle the way I want it to when I shrink it down and things like that, then I'll simply pull up a different font and try again. As you saw, sketching out this little rocket was pretty fast and dirty. Not much to it. So, you know, repeating this as an exercise or a practice is also something I'm willing to do right from the beginning, as I just don't sweat it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Words of advice. They're small. And as you can see, this is really just coloring in. I'm inking in the tea based on what I saw through the light board. And again, I have the understanding that it will look hand-drawn on the page in the finished element, and this is in a way a nod to the past, in that illuminated works were done by individual artist scribes. They were all originals, and there was no shooting for perfection. You just did the best you could do with the tools you're using and feel good about it. You know, this is going to be kind of tricky and nifty, for my opinion. It will look a little bit science fiction and a little bit retro, and the group in the story is called the Retro Rocket Cult, which is several, like 25 million people who really like retro looking rockets, and sort of a fan club, worldwide fan club. Anyway, so you see, that was how simple doing that letter was. And I did choose this lettering font because I thought it would handle well. So if you're selecting for something, keep that in mind if you're intending to do what I did. If you're intending to capture it just like a photographically, then it's less of a concern. So as you notice here, I'm opting for kind of organic element to it. That's part of what I wanted to do with Little Rocket, was give it a little bit more of an organic hit. And this is Copic Opaque White, and it does okay. I like the brush on it. The brush is very fine and nice, but it's not quite as opaque as like a whiteout is. But for my little bauble, I'll just do something like that. And I'm actually going to make a further adjustment. I think what I want to do is fix this. So I'm going to come back in here. Oops, I should go the whole way. There we go. And I'm just going to make it look like this rocket has penetrated this part of the T. See, now it looks like it's coming out of it. And that's what I want to do for this illuminated letter. So there you have it. Later.